Mitchell Valkyrie follows Sarah Mitchell, a quiet yoga teacher in a small coastal town. Unbeknownst to anyone, she was once a top gunfighter pilot, nicknamed Valkyrie. At a local airshow, Sarah endures ridicule and mockery from sexist onlookers until a jet malfunctions mid-flight and spirals toward disaster. As chaos unfolds, Sarah steps forward, reveals her past, and takes to the skies once more. Against every doubt, she saves the young pilot, proving that true skill and courage never fade. The story ends with her redemption, not through applause, but through silent respect. She reclaims her identity, no longer defined by others, but by her own unshakable resolve. The ocean wind carried the sound of engines long before anyone saw the jets. Waves crashed against the pier, gulls scattered, and hundreds of faces tilted toward the sky. Amid them stood Sarah Mitchell, her gray hoodie drawn tight, hair pulled back, hands buried deep in her pockets. She looked like anyone, a woman out for the airshow, blending into the blur of flags and funnel cakes. But her eyes told another story. They never left the sky. Every dive, every climb of the roaring F-22s reflected in her pupils like ghosts she couldn't forget. "Doesn't look like she belongs here," someone muttered behind her. She didn't turn. The words slid off like wind over metal. For 12 years, Sarah had lived quietly, teaching yoga at the local rec center, driving the same pickup, never speaking of the Navy. No one here knew the name Valkyrie. No one would have believed it anyway. A little girl tugged her father's sleeve nearby. "Daddy, why is that lady alone?" Her father glanced over. "Probably just doesn't get it, kiddo. Planes are for people who know what they're looking at." Sarah smiled faintly, the kind that hid more than it revealed. She tightened her hand around a small metal keychain in her pocket, a silver F-18 jet, worn from years of touch. Overhead, the jets broke formation, their trails painting white scars across the sky. The announcer's voice boomed through the speakers. "Ladies and gentlemen, the U.S. Raptors in synchronized flight." The crowd roared. Sarah didn't. Her heartbeat synced with the engines, her breath steady, precise, like it used to be before she lost it all. Then, a crack, sharp, unnatural. One jet tilted sideways, black smoke bleeding from its tail. The announcer's voice stumbled. Looks like possible malfunction." Sarah's breath stopped. The sound wasn't just noise, it was a memory, the same pitch, the same spiral. Panic rippled through the crowd. People shouted, children cried, phones rose to record. And through it all, Sarah stood still, her eyes tracking the wounded bird falling through the clouds. She didn't move. Not yet. But something inside her, something she'd buried for years, started to stir. Sirens wailed across the base. The announcer's calm veneer broke. "We're calling for emergency assistance. Please stand clear of the barriers." The crowd scattered, except for Sarah. Her sneakers crunched the gravel as she stepped forward, closer to the runway. "Hey, lady," a volunteer shouted. "You can't be here." Sarah didn't answer. Her eyes never left the tumbling jet, now trailing closer to the sea. The command tower buzzed with panic. Voices shouted through radios. "Pilot losing altitude, engine 3 dead, systems unresponsive." And still, the crowd whispered, "She's crazy. She'll get herself arrested. What's she think she's gonna do?" Sarah's hand brushed the keychain again, the weight of her past grounding her in the chaos. Then came the voice over the intercom. "This is Lieutenant Harlan. I've lost control. Mayday. Mayday." Sarah froze. The voice was so young. Too young. She turned and walked. Past the volunteer, past the barrier, past every wide-eyed spectator. A guard reached out. "Ma'am, you can't," her voice cut him like a blade. "Open the hangar." The guard hesitated. Something in her tone, quiet, steady, absolute, made him lower his hand. Inside, the control room was chaos. Officers barked orders. Technicians pounded consoles. A man in uniform turned as she entered, his face twisted with disbelief. "Who let a civilian in here?" Sarah reached into her pocket and pulled out a leather badge case. It opened with a click. The Top Gun insignia gleamed under the fluorescent lights. The room went silent. "You're Mitchell," the commander whispered. "Valkyrie." Sarah's eyes met his. Calm. Focused. "There's no time to talk," she said. Open Bay 2. The commander hesitated, then nodded. The hangar doors thundered open. Heat shimmered off the tarmac. The backup F-22 sat waiting, sleek, alive, dangerous. Mechanics stared as Sarah climbed the ladder. Her hands were steady, her movements muscle memory reborn. The helmet slid on with a whisper. Over the radio, a panicked voice. He's losing altitude fast. Impact in 60 seconds. Not today, Sarah muttered. Engines ignited. The roar filled her chest. As the jet lifted, the world fell away, the crowd, the noise, the years. Only the sky remained. Control, this is Valkyrie, she said. Static. Then stunned silence. Confirmed, Valkyrie. You're clear for pursuit. She shot upward, breaking through the clouds. The damaged jet flickered ahead, smoke trailing like a wound. Stay with me, Lieutenant, she said. The young pilot's voice cracked. Ma'am, I can't, it's you can. Her tone hardened. You're not dying today. Every instinct roared back, the rhythm of the sky, the pulse of control. She matched his roll, guided his descent, whispering calm into panic. Below, the world watched, unaware that the ghost of Valkyrie had returned to save one of their own. Flaps to 20. Counter yaw. No. Her voice was iron through the storm. The crippled jet obeyed, wobbling but steadying. The lieutenant gasped. How are you doing this? Because I've done it before, she said. Warning alarm screamed. Sarah ignored them, eyes locked on the horizon. The ocean below gleamed like a blade. On the ground, technicians watched the screens in disbelief. She's actually stabilizing him. That's impossible. She's been out for over a decade. The commander's jaw clenched. That's why she's Valkyrie. Sarah's fingers flew across the controls, instinct faster than thought. Every motion was a memory, every sound, a ghost of who she'd been. Throttle back, she ordered. Follow me in. The crippled jet dipped low, landing gear groaning. Sarah matched him wing to wing, her own alarms flashing red. Come on, she whispered. Come home. The runway rose to meet them like a promise. The first jet touched down, sparks spraying, smoke billowing. The crowd screamed. Then silence. Sarah's jet hit next. Hard. Controlled. Perfect. Engines roared, tires screeched, and then stillness. Emergency crews ran forward. The young pilot climbed out, shaking, eyes wet. Sarah followed, unstrapping slowly, her breath ragged. The commander pushed through the chaos, stopping short when he saw her. The salute came without words. And one by one, the others followed. Ground crew. Marines. Pilots. The crowd beyond the fences. Hundreds of salutes rising in perfect silence. Sarah didn't smile. She just nodded, eyes on the horizon. The sky had given her back her name. Later, in the dim barracks, Sarah sat by a window, sunlight cutting across her face. The keychain lay on the table beside her, the little metal jet, gleaming once more. The door opened. The young pilot stepped in, his hand trembling. Ma'am, he said softly. You saved my life. Sarah looked at him, really looked. No, she said. You flew your way home. I just reminded you how. He left, leaving silence behind. Outside, the wind carried the sound of another jet taking off. Sarah watched it climb, smooth, fearless. She reached for the keychain, closed her fist around it, and stood. No applause. No speeches. Just the steady hum of engines in the distance. For 12 years, the world had forgotten her. But the sky never had.